$2 million in the bank, a Range Rover in the driveway, business class flights every month. Tell me, does that sound like someone who should be stressed? Because I'm going to tell you today about a psychological trap that destroys people after they make money. Not before, after. And if you're watching this thinking, Alvan, I don't have $2 million. This doesn't apply to me. Stay right there. Because this principle is silently eating people alive at $2,000 a month, at $20,000 a month, and at $2 million. The number doesn't matter. The pattern does. My name is Alvan. Welcome to Alvan Finance, where we talk about money the way nobody else in Kenya is willing to. Let's get into it.
Here's what I want you to think about as we go through this video. There is a man, let's call him David, who grew up in Kibera. His family shared one room. He watched his mother count coins before buying tomatoes. He told himself, if I ever get to 2 million shillings, life will be perfect. If I get to $2 million, I'll never stress again. David worked. He hustled. He built a business. And one day, he hit $2 million. 6 months later, David told a close friend, I feel emptier than when I was broke. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why David felt that way. And more importantly, you'll know what to do about it.
Let me introduce you to one of the most dangerous concepts in personal finance that nobody talks about. It's called the Hedonic Treadmill. Economists and psychologists discovered something disturbing. Human beings have a near-perfect ability to adapt to new levels of wealth. You get more money. You feel amazing for a few weeks, maybe a few months. Then your brain recalibrates, and suddenly, that new level of wealth becomes your new normal. Think about it in your own life. Remember the first time you got a smartphone? That feeling, it was incredible. Now, if someone gave you that same phone today, you'd laugh. You've adapted. The same thing happens with money. When you were earning 20,000 shillings a month, you thought, if I ever make 100K a month, I'm sorted. Then you made 100K, and instead of feeling rich, you started seeing things you couldn't afford before. You upgraded your apartment. You started eating at nicer restaurants. Your friend got a car. Now, 100K feels tight. This is the treadmill. You run faster, the belt speeds up, you never move forward. Now, imagine this at $2 million. At $2 million, your reference group has changed. You're no longer comparing yourself to the guy struggling in your old neighborhood. You're comparing yourself to the man with $10 million, the woman with 3 companies, the billionaire you saw on Forbes Africa. And suddenly, $2 million feels like almost nothing.
Here's where it gets dangerous. Because it's not just a feeling. The $2 million person can actually be broke. And I'm not exaggerating. This is what lifestyle inflation looks like at high income. You buy a big house, now you need staff, maintenance, security, generators. That's $3,000 a month minimum. You bought the Range Rover, insurance, fuel, servicing, another $1,500 a month. You're flying business class now because economy doesn't feel right anymore. That's $5,000 a trip, 4 times a year. You enrolled your kids in an international school, $2,000 a month per child. You're eating at nice restaurants 3 times a week, another $1,500 a month. Private health insurance, an office, staff salaries, multiple phones, a wardrobe that needs upgrading every season. Add it all up. Now ask yourself, what happens if the business slows down for 3 months? What happens if a deal falls through? What happens if the Kenyan shilling drops hard and your costs go up? This person with $2 million is living a life that costs $30,000 a month or more. They have no real savings buffer. They're one bad quarter away from panic. That is actual poverty with a luxury exterior. And here's the coolest part. They can't even explain to anyone why they're stressed, because everyone around them sees the house and the car and thinks, what does he have to worry about? He has everything to worry about. Because the higher you climb without financial intelligence, the further you can fall, and the more you have to lose.
Now, I want to talk about something that nobody in finance YouTube will admit. Money doesn't make you feel rich. Comparison makes you feel rich or poor. Research from Princeton University, and this is real data, found that beyond a certain income level, more money doesn't increase your daily emotional well-being. What matters far more is where you perceive yourself to be relative to others. This is why a person earning 80,000 shillings a month in a Kisumu neighborhood where everyone earns 30,000 feels like a king, and a person earning $2 million a year in a social circle filled with people earning $10 million a year feels like a failure. Same principle. Social media has made this catastrophically worse, because now the comparison isn't just your neighborhood, it's the whole world. The guy on Instagram flossing a private jet, the influencer on TikTok opening 10 luxury bags, the entrepreneur on LinkedIn who just closed a $50 million round. You don't see their debt. You don't see their anxiety. You don't see the 3 investors they're trying to appease. You just see the highlight reel. And your brain, which hasn't evolved to process this, looks at that and says, you're behind. You don't have enough. You need to do more. 2 million, 20 million, it doesn't matter. If your comparison game is broken, no amount of money will ever feel like enough. This is why some of the wealthiest people I've studied personally, and some of the wealthiest people researchers have interviewed, report feeling more anxious after getting rich than before. The stakes are higher. The expectations are louder. The pressure is relentless.
Here's the part of this conversation that goes beyond finance, and I need you to stay with me. When many people chase money, they tie their entire identity to the destination. Once I'm rich, I'll know who I am. Once I make it, I'll feel worthy. Once I have enough, I'll finally relax. But what happens when you get there and you still feel like the same person inside? All the old insecurities are still there, the childhood wounds, the fear of not being enough, the need for validation. Getting rich didn't fix any of that. It just gave those feelings a new address. This is what psychologists call an identity vacuum after achieving a major goal. You spent years with a clear mission: get the money. That mission gave you direction, purpose, a reason to wake up early and work late. Then you achieve it, and suddenly the engine that drove you is gone. What do you do now? Some people self-destruct. They start gambling, drinking, chasing the next dopamine hit. Not because they're weak, but because nobody prepared them for the emptiness that can come after the victory. Others become paralyzed. They're afraid to make financial decisions because now they have something real to lose. Others become reckless. They make terrible investments because they need that hustle feeling back, that sense that they're building towards something. All of this is the $2 million curse in action. And it's not unique to millionaires. This happens to anyone who achieves a goal they've deeply attached their identity to and hasn't built a life with meaning beyond the money.
Okay, I'm not just here to depress you. Let's talk about what actually works, because there are people who reach that level of wealth and feel genuinely at peace. What do they do differently? I've studied this. Here's what I found. Number 1, they define enough before they reach it. Happiness research consistently shows that people who decide in advance what enough looks like in real, concrete terms are far more satisfied when they reach it. Not a vague, I want to be rich. Specific, I want to have passive income of $500,000 a month, a paid-off home, and 3 months of expenses saved. That's my enough. When you hit that target, you know you hit it. You allow yourself to feel it. Number 2, They stop upgrading their lifestyle as fast as they upgrade their income. This is the most powerful financial discipline in existence. Live below your means, not just when you're struggling, but especially when you're winning. The wealthy people who sleep well at night are the ones who made $2 million and still live like they're making $500,000. The rest goes into assets, income-producing assets, land, stocks, businesses, money that makes more money. Number 3, they shift from money goals to impact goals. There's a reason the happiest wealthy people you'll find are the ones actively building something beyond themselves. A school, a foundation, a mentorship program, jobs for their community. It's not charity for the sake of charity. It's neuroscience. Human beings are wired to find meaning through contribution. When your daily actions are connected to impact, not just income, your brain releases entirely different chemicals, purpose chemicals, not just pleasure chemicals. Number 4, they manage their comparison environment. They are intentional about who they spend time with. They curate their social media ruthlessly. They measure themselves against their past self, not against someone richer on Instagram. If you spend your life comparing yourself to people above you, you will never feel successful. But if you wake up every day and ask, am I growing? Am I better than I was last year? That's a game you can actually win. Number 5, they get financially educated and stay educated. Most people who get rich fast lose it fast because money without knowledge is just borrowed time. The people who keep wealth and feel secure in it understand money at a deep level. They know how to protect it, how to grow it, how to use it as a tool, not an identity.
So here's the real truth I want to leave you with today. The goal was never the $2 million. The goal was always the feeling you thought $2 million would give you. Security, freedom, peace, respect, significance. But those are not things money gives you. Those are things you build with habits, with identity, with purpose, with wisdom. Money is a tool, one of the most powerful tools in the world. But a hammer doesn't build a house on its own. You need a plan. You need skill. You need intention. Start building that now, whether you have 2,000 shillings or $2 million. Because the person who is going to feel peaceful when they have wealth is the person who is building that peace right now. If this video made you think differently about money today, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment below. What does your enough look like? I want to know. And if you're new here, subscribe. We talk about money on this channel the way nobody else in Kenya is willing to. Real talk, no filters. I'm Alvan. I'll see you in the next one.